Hello. It is. You will have to sing it every time now. Because I won't remember it. I'll do what I did before and I'll set up a little sound alert. And we'll just play that every time. Yo. I I think it's funny that we have a Christmas Eve and most people celebrate Christmas Eve, but we don't do anything for Thanksgiving Eve. New Year, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an official holiday, but they're recovering from the night before. Yeah, I've seen their celebration. I feel like it'd be cool to go there and see like all their stuff. Be an experience. Yeah. Maybe if we win the lottery one day. In the whack. The trailer? Need to cut my hair. Jeez. It's called something. Whatever. Yeah. I skipped to the gameplay, so this will be new for me. Burning down. My bad. Yep. The scene right there makes me think of the opening to Zelda and Ocarina of Time, and the horse is running. Well, it's just because of the scene. Because like, if you look at the opening for Ocarina, there's a scene where Zelda or Link is riding his horse across like a grassy field. So. But aside from like just the images like linking up, yeah, the Ghost of Tsushima is what I was thinking. I was thinking Ghost of Tsushima and Neo. This game reminds me a lot of Neo. Yeah, if you mix those two games, that's what it reminds me of. I believe Neo 2 is free on PlayStation Plus right now if you have it. I played like 2/3 of Neo 1 and I never finished it. I need to go back and replay it and then play 2. I'm curious though, like they show you like just a brief glimpse of the movesets and like abilities. The power system type deal. Is that yeah, no, I've never seen it or heard about it, but it looks really cool though. Like I really like um, the dialogue and everything, and like I could totally play it on subtitle. I just feel like for stream wise, like subtitles are a little harder sometimes. So I'm hoping like maybe it'll have the English like voiceover. I'll play the subtitle version offline. That part reminded me of the Bloodborne at the very end with what's her face. Yeah, I can't remember the crazy boss after Gehrman. Yeah, that's it. It's the presence that's shown when the moon is shown. I'm really curious, like, on what the story is gonna like fully is. Yeah,
Brace yourself.
well, like the new one. Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be another good one. I might off for that one or not. I might. Never heard of them. I mean, you can kind of tell, like in the development process, it looks like it's not like a high budget studio, but it still looks like it has a ton of potential. If they can get the right kind of advertisement out there and catch wind of like the Neo Souls people and all that, like I think it'll blow up or have the potential to blow up. My my guess is no English voiceovers. Assassin's Creed. I didn't really get Assassin's Creed out of it. I definitely got the Ghost of Tsushima feel. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because I haven't played Assassins. I played like one and two, and then I played the Black Flag one, and that's it. So maybe there's just I haven't played enough of them to really like see the comparisons, or maybe they didn't show like the best scenes to like display the Assassin's Creed side of it. Maybe there's other stuff that'll come out, more trailers that'll be like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, well, let me see. You are stream. I don't know if she can. Can you hear me? Oh, you're muted on your stream. The only reason I found out is because I saw.
Oh no. Oh no, I think that means I might have been muted the whole time and I couldn't see your chat, Copic. Thank you so much for letting me know because I had that YouTube screen up and I couldn't see it. Oh no, I've been muted the whole time. That's okay. It's all right. It's fine. What do? You roll with the punches.
So
Okay, so this
I mean, we can
game.
probably piece it together from my half of the conversation.
Oh
I just happened to look down at my phone and I
no.
saw Kopik's messages. I didn't have my earbud in, but then I pulled it up. I'm like, wait, can I hear her?
Oh no. I'm trying to log in on TV, so instead, oh, no worries. No worries, Copic. Thank you so much for trying to let me know.
I could hear you.
I know, because it's because of Discord. You could hear me. Dang it. Dang it. All right. So, okay, so you're going to be on the TV now. Sounds great, Copic. Thank you. Oh, no. Okay, so what I was just now saying is it looks like this might be the studio's first game.
It seems like a lot of
But maybe I'm
like time
wrong.
and
Let me see.
effort
Hold
for a
on.
first game.
Hold on. I don't
I mean,
know.
that's
Maybe
good.
not. I don't. It's kind of hard to. Hold on. Let me do this. I don't think so. I think that's wrong. It's just the website is like. It's just on this page where it says Everstone Studio. And I click on latest news and it just talks what we just watched. And then I click on games developed and it only comes up with the one. And then I click on games published and it only comes up with the one. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is their first game. IDK.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it, right? They've only got like, let's see, They got like 900 followers on Instagram, it looks like. If this
Well,
is the same one, maybe.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm
They
not.
don't really have, yeah, they don't really have a whole lot going. Like, let's see.
Maybe it's just on PC, but like at the top, no, nope. Yeah, I don't know. Weird. Okay. It doesn't even. I'm not even finding. Like, what is their website? Like, I'm not even finding a website for them specifically. I'm finding
Maybe
them
they're that
on.
new.
Weird. Well, if they are brand new and this is actually their first game, if it's really good, then they might put them on the map.
Yeah, I think it has a good chance of doing it.
I think, yeah, if it catches the right crowd, I think it could do really. I don't know. It looks like it could be really cool. But you know, there have been games that have looked like they've been really cool and then they have not been very cool. So I don't know.
It's so weird. Like,
we'll see. But as far as like, I think the gameplay looks similar enough to games that I have enjoyed playing gameplay wise. That looks like it'll be fine. Visually, I think it looks really good. I think it's yeah. Visually, I think it looks great. I think it's right up there with like some of the visuals we get in Ghost of Tsushima, which is literally one of the most beautiful games I've ever played that like wasn't a current gen Final Fantasy. Because those are always ridiculously gorgeous.
I like the artwork style they're going towards. It gives a good mix.
And it's I mean it's very Chinese as far as like what a lot of their visual media is, like right down to their games, their comics, their anime all has a very similar vibe visually, and this looks a lot like all of that stuff. So, and I like their stuff, so I think I don't know, it'll either be great or it won't. Right?
Either gonna be amazing or something.
It might fall in between. It might be like, it was okay. I just hope like whatever the story is, I hope the story is really good. Because you know you can have fantastic gameplay but not a good story, and that's lame.
Let me post this in your Twitch chat.
In my chat.
I can do it on Discord too, but
chat's better because
I'm just on my computer, so it's just easier to copy paste. Check that out, because that gives like a press release, and then it gives like a full like story background type deal and a fact sheet and a game overview. It says the beta test is supposed to be sometime 2022 and then release is sometime 2023.
Oh, nice, cool. Then we'll be getting that sooner than
I don't know when was this press release. This was done in August. So, I mean, we got a month for them to do a beta test at this point.
That's true.
Unless they've done one already and we just didn't know.
Because we didn't know.
I mean, this article was done 3 months ago. So
yeah, I think this was probably done around Gamescom, which is a pretty big event. In Germany. That's actually one of the gaming events I look forward to announcement wise.
Everything that I can find is just like this is like their first thing, and it talks about Everstone Studio and NetEase Games. NetEase. I don't know. A lot of the RPG site stuff is the one that I keep getting.
Well,
like they keep being tied in.
Looks cool to me, guys. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I hopefully I can remember it and keep up with it, and we will play it.
Yes, I think that'll be cool. And then obviously what we saw in that minute-long Crisis Core trailer, obviously we're getting some very nice HD imagery compared to, 2007 PSP graphics. So we are getting a huge visual upgrade. It looks like they're adding some new musical arrangements, which is really cool. We're getting some new music in this version. The Crisis Core had some really cool music. I really liked it. And we are getting all of the summons have new cinematics that they've animated specifically for this version. And then we're getting a new battle system.
I think once I beat
Which is great, because I hated Crisis Core's battle system. It was clunky.
Once I beat it and experience it, I will go watch a playthrough of the original game.
Just so you know what you're missing out on.
Yeah, like, know what there was there. Because I feel like had I saw that game when it first came out, it would have been like another Final Fantasy VII. Like, it would have been like nostalgic, and I would have been hooked and loved it, and like it would have been another big game in my life.
Crisis Core was definitely the reason I bought a PSP back in the day. I was like, what? Hello? Prequel?
That's exactly why I never even heard of it, because I never had a PSP or anything.
I only had one because I bought it for that game.
During that time span, I didn't really game a whole lot. I played like the Xbox 360 or whatever. And then, or maybe it was Xbox, like the original Xbox, and there was like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and 3. But handheld wise, I did like Game Boy, the 3DS or whatever. And then the 3DS was kind of iffy. I almost didn't even get it, and I barely remember playing anything on it. But then like once they started getting into all that and they got away from like the Game Boy Advances, I kind of stepped away from all the handhelds. And then the next handheld I got into was the Switch. So there was like a huge gap in there, like the PSP Vista or whatever, PSP, all that nonsense. I never even touched any of that. The whole like Wii era, I didn't really do anything with that either. From like 2005 to probably 2010-ish, I didn't play a lot of games.
So my favorite things to play on a handheld system are JRPGs. Period. Hands down. I don't really enjoy anything else on a handheld level. So my PSP was my first handheld. I didn't grow up with Game Boys and whatnot. My siblings did. Like, my parents bought them like Game Boy Colors and Advances and blah 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 blah. They grew up with Game Boys, which I think is also why I didn't get into Pokemon like they did, because I didn't grow up with
Pokemon
those.
was the best.
So I got a PSP because of Crisis Core. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this game. And it's only available on a PSP, so I have to buy a PSP for this game.
Yeah.
I actually bought my PSP secondhand, because buying a brand new handheld for one game was expensive.
A lot. Yeah. For just one
I had a
game
job
and
back
nothing
then
else.
and whatnot, but I was like, oh. But and then I did own I had a handful of JRPGs that I played on the PSP that I really enjoyed. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions was on PSP, was really excellent. I love that game. And then I didn't get a 3DS until my brother gave me a 3DS for Christmas with Fire Emblem Awakening. Now, I will say that if there is any reason to own a DS/3DS, it's for the Fire Emblem games, because there are so many Fire Emblem games between the DS and the 3DS, and they're all fantastic.
I wish they would just have, like, you can have the Steam, like, thing, the handheld, whatever it's called.
Oh, the Steam Deck, yeah.
Yeah, you can have that, and then you can have PC games on Steam. And then there just needs to be one other handheld, not Nintendo because their graphics aren't good enough to be considered. But you need a handheld like the Switch that can handle better graphics, and then one console. And just everybody join into one company. Let's
No,
stop all
will
the
never
competition
happen.
between
Will never
Xbox
happen. Will
and
never
Nintendo.
happen. We can dream, but will
I
never
don't.
happen.
I'm so tired of having so many systems. It's like, geez, man.
Well, and
Like,
that's
just
kind of
everybody
why
release on one system.
early on in life I just kind of pick and chose like everyone's like, "Oh, is PlayStation your favorite because that's all you have?" I'm like, "No, it's just I can only afford to collect for one system." Like
Yeah.
I like and then
PlayStation has the best one.
even my Switch, I did not buy my Switch. My brother gave me my Switch for Christmas a few years ago. So like I have a Switch because my brother bought it. And then even now I don't have a ton of games for it. I own 4 physical games for my Switch. Two of them were three of them were gifts. I have purchased one physical game for my Switch. And then I have like 3 or 4 digital games that I have purchased for it. But like it's not that I dislike the Switch at all. It's just like I have a console that I focus on, and if it comes available on PlayStation, I am more likely to get it there than anywhere else.
Yeah.
So
I do the same.
But yeah. Back to Crisis Core. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to watch you play it for the first time.
I am. I want to play it so bad. It looks really good. It looks, and I'll get a lot of story that I've never seen and always been curious about.
Yeah, you're gonna get all of that prequel stuff with Zack and Sephiroth before he went dark side. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you to play it.
Things that I've never experienced or even heard about, because I never even knew the game existed until the remake was announced.
Right? And you're like, oh, so. What's that? Cool. Why did I know about that?
You know.
Yeah, I wish that they would do, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, like, mobile remakes, there was a literal mobile game called Final Fantasy Before Crisis that was all about the Turks, but it was literally a phone game, and it only came out in Japan. And I was like, please give this to me. I want it.
Like, I gotta go live abroad for a month. Sorry.
Like, and it was even like a flip phone game. Like, it came out on flip phones.
Oh wow.
So
that's old.
It's pretty crazy. But I mean, Japan's phones have always been ahead of their time. Even their flip phones were always ahead of everyone else's flip phones.
I know. I can't imagine what their like actual smartphones are capable of compared to ours. It's probably insane.
Right, it's wild. But yeah, so that's coming up here in just a few weeks. 3 weeks? Is that 3 weeks from? So 1, 2.
Probably, yeah, about like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's the 13th. Right?
3 weeks from Tuesday. Well, no, 2 weeks from Tuesday. So not even quite. Just under 3 weeks. Because it comes out on a Tuesday.
I miss games coming out on Fridays.
Why
movies
is it coming out on a Tuesday?
I don't understand this Tuesday.
I'm used to books. I'm used to books coming out on Tuesdays. That's like the book release day, and it's been that way for a really, really long time. So like when I'm looking for manga or light novel releases, they're on Tuesdays. But like a a Square Enix game on a Tuesday?
Yeah, I don't understand the game releases anymore. It's just so odd.
They just pick a day. They're like, that one.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because like you want people to play your game, yet you're gonna do it midweek. Like no one's.
Yeah,
they're gonna play like an hour, or they're gonna get it on Tuesday, but they're not gonna touch it till Friday because no one plays until Friday.
Right.
Because you don't want to play an hour and then have to go to bed to go to work. No, you're going to wait till Friday when you can game for 10 hours
binge
all
night.
Yeah. You can do it nonstop.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm excited. Yeah, like I'll get it, and then I'll wait till... I mean, I'm only going to wait till Wednesday because I'll play it on stream on Wednesday probably, but... And I know I'm not going to be done with all of our God of War stuff by then, because I'm going to play Ragnarok right after this one. And I'm not going to be done with Ragnarok by then, so I'm going to have to rotate the two. because
Yeah,
I
it's.
don't want to wait till I'm done with Ragnarok to play Crisis Core.
Are you gonna do the side content stuff in both
um,
games,
I
or?
have done a little bit of the side content, but right now I'm really pushing to get through the story, and I think I'll go back and do side content
After.
later because just due to time, I have a lot I'm trying to get through before January when, Fire Emblem Engage comes out and Dead Space comes out. Those are a week apart.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah. Dead Space comes out the week after Fire Emblem. I kind of wish it came out the week before Fire Emblem because I could probably finish that in a week. But
I think
it comes out a week after, so I'm like, ugh.
I think like if you're gonna like pick side content specifically to do, then like where you opened up there's a certain side boss fights that you'll want to do that are really interesting and cool.
Okay. Because, are those side boss fights in, because, I just got the ability to open up those mirrors that open,
And they go into like an arena.
well, they go into, a dungeon.
Yeah,
Is there,
dungeon. I think you had one where you were just in I think it's called Niflheim, the hell place.
Yeah, I just did Niflheim. I just saved my son, and we are headed back up the mountain.
And you unlocked you opened one of like the stone mirror things.
I
whatever,
opened
right?
one and then didn't do anything with it because I was like, I'm gonna come back to this later.
And did it was that the one, does it have like stairs that go down in, or an elevator that goes down? Did you
Don't
step in at all?
remember.
No. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, those are gonna be the ones that you wanna go search out.
Okay. All right. I'll look into it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you remember where it is, you could just go pop in, and if it turns into a boss fight, then you'll know. You don't have to do the fight. You could just die and leave. But then you'll know that those are what you're looking for.
Okay.
But they are really good. That is those are fights like what I got stuck on for a long time.
Ever, because you decided to play Give Me God of War your first time through. When honestly, normal has been pretty challenging. It hasn't been super easy, but it's not insanely difficult. It's a good veteran gamer level of difficulty.
Yeah, it's not
actually
easy. I want to go back and I almost want to go back and play the first one and not do it on the Gimme God of War mode, because I'm really curious. I played the second one, and either it is a lot easier than the first one, just in general. Maybe they dumbed down the difficulty, or me playing the first
you're
one
a better
on Give Me
gamer.
God of War, it enhanced my skills for God of War in general, because I just played on the Give Me balance. I just played on the default difficulty this time, and it was, for the majority, I went through and beat almost all the bosses first try. I died and if I did die, I only died once, and then I beat it next try, just because it caught me off guard with oh dang, I didn't know that was coming. And so then it's once I know it's coming, then it's that's the only thing that caught me, and I'd be able to do it. So I don't know if playing on Give Me God of War just prepped me for God of War games,
Maybe.
and it made it really good, or if they took the difficulty, or just maybe Give Me balance is a little too easy, too low for me. Maybe I should have gone a little higher. I still had a ton of fun. I loved it. I didn't get stuck. I didn't get aggravated. It was a nice casual playthrough. I enjoyed the story a ton. I'm excited to watch you play it. It definitely it has all the normal God of War stuff, and violence and gore and things like that. But it's not all Kratos being gruff and tough. There's more of a lighter like fatherly emotional side to it, which is really nice.
Nice. I've been really enjoying the first one, which I knew I would. So
Yeah,
I look
it's a
forward to
great game.
playing
The story
Ragnarok.
and the relationship is really good. The only thing that is probably the most different is they had to age Atreus in Ragnarok because of COVID happened, so it delayed production, and he grew up and his voice dropped. So then they had to age his character because they weren't going to. They were going to leave him the same, but his voice dropped, and they're like, "Oh, well, the voice isn't going to fit," so they had to
They're like,
remodel his character slightly.
oops.
But I'm kind of glad they did because a lot of cool things came up that I was hopeful for when I finished the first one. I was like, I really hope like certain things were gonna happen or be available, and there's some really good stuff in there.
Cool.
So
I look forward
it'll
to
be
it.
fun to watch.
I'm not going to go into detail about it right now because I could go off on a tangent, but I am just going to make one quick note that I'm really excited because we should be seeing the new Jedi Fallen Order game this coming year.
Oh, that'd be cool. I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
And that's the first Star Wars game I've played since like PS2 days.
Yeah,
so
I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the sequel to that because I loved Fallen Order. It was very good.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say about it today because we're going to move into the actual topic for tonight's podcast.
We can go crazy on that one once we hear the news.
Right.
But
well,
I'm
there is a trailer out for it. So maybe we can talk about it next time. Maybe we'll see.
We could watch the trailer. I haven't seen it. I knew there was one coming. I heard about it a long time ago. And I am excited for it. I will probably grab this one sooner than later this time around because the last one I waited forever. It was good.
And then you were like, "Wow, this is great. Why did I wait?"
You're like, I wish I had done this sooner. Dang
You're like, this is a great game. All right, so things in anime and or gaming that we are thankful for. I will give an example. I am grateful for Sailor Moon because it was the first anime I ever saw. I am grateful for whatever channel was showing it at an awkward time for me to watch and experience and be like, oh my gosh, what is this new what is this cartoon? It is so like different from everything else I watch. So, I am grateful to that. I am grateful for like anime conventions because that used to be the best way to meet other people in the community. I will keep going, but I want us to like back and forth. I was just throwing out some examples.
I grew up pretty basic. I started with Dragon Ball Z, so.
I honestly think 90% of Americans that are into anime started with DBZ, but that's because it was one of the most readily available anime out there. It was mainstream before anime was mainstream.
Yeah, because that's the only one that I really actively remember like airing new episodes week to week, and that's when I watched it, was when it was coming on Cartoon Network or whatever week to week. And I loved that the series and whole. When I was a kid, that's really the only thing that influenced me for anything. And like every kid, you wish it was real and you want to be just like them.
Right.
You're like, I'm gonna go do 1 billion push-ups because I'm gonna be like Goku.
Oh man, no, I have probably not quite as early because I'm just a little bit. I'm a little older than you, but not by a ton.
Just
I fondly remember Toonami on Cartoon Network every afternoon after school. They would show like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing. That's how I watched my first Gundam series, and it's to this day it's my favorite Gundam series, probably because of the nostalgia. It's a great Gundam series, but I will stand by it to this day being like, this is my favorite. I will be the first to admit that it might not be the best one, but it is my favorite one. but like Gundam Wing, and then that's also where I saw like Cowboy Bebop for this. Well, no, Cowboy Bebop was on Adult Swim, which was, basically Toonami late at night. But yeah,
have you ever heard of the Planet America cartoon?
Planet America cartoon. I don't know what that is.
No.
No, what is that?
It's one that when I was a kid I grew up with it. Maybe once you see the image you'll recognize it.
I mean, there's Captain Planet.
It might be that. I just typed in Planet America. It's probably Captain Planet, but there's...
Because I typed in Planet America, and the first thing I got was Captain Planet. And I am familiar with Captain Planet.
It's probably Captain Planet. I typed in Planet America. I couldn't remember the name of the show. It's probably that. But
gotcha.
I used to watch that all the time, and I loved it. That was an amazing show. That was always really exciting to watch. I think it is Captain Planet.
Yeah, it's definitely Captain Planet. Oh yeah, I watched Captain Planet. It's like it's very American, but it has a very anime vibe about it. But yeah, so I am grateful to anime being on regular everyday television so that I could see it.
Did you ever watch Thundercats?
Yeah, I grew up with Thundercats.
I like Thundercats too. That's another good one.
Yeah, I grew up with Thundercats. And then like He-Man, Master of the Universe.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yep.
I always remember watching them and just getting like super giddy and excited, and I like. You ever hear people who get like they get excited and they shake and they like want to scream? That was me as a kid. I would scream.
I get it.
I would scream all the time. I get it. Now I just call it like aggressive cuteness.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. But yeah, what was another thing that anime brought me that I'm grateful is, there back in the day before social media and before stuff like Twitch, it's still there, it still exists to this day. There is a website called cosplay.com. And that was a website with forums on it, which you could post on and talk to people, public forums. And people would post their cosplays from different like conventions or just like personal shoots that they've done. But through that website, I discovered anime conventions. I was like, what is this? What is this? And it was like mind blowing and absolutely world changing for me. Anime conventions absolutely, changed who I am as a person. I was, believe it or not, I was very shy as a younger person. I was not super like open and extroverted about the stuff that I loved, because back when I was younger, it was like not cool to be into anime, so I was really shy about telling people I was into it. So the first time I went to an anime convention and I walked into this massive building knowing that all of the people there were into the same kind of stuff I was, there was like this shell around me that just shattered into a billion pieces. And I was like reborn into this new talkative extroverted person who was like, oh my gosh, it's okay to talk about this stuff that I really like, and now I can make friends, and these are my people. Yeah, it was just absolutely life-changing for me. So I am grateful to cosplay.com for introducing me to that. And it also introduced me into through that forum, there would be specific categories for specific conventions, and then within those conventions, there would be categories for specific, like, we would do cosplay gatherings for specific shows, and I still have friends to this day that I met in the Anime Expo Helsing cosplay gathering thread. That particular thread we used for years, to meet up at Anime Expo and take photos together in Helsing cosplay. And I'm still to this day friends with a lot of the people that I met on there. So it's pretty cool. And so I guess in a way that I'm also thankful for Helsing, because Helsing gave me, introduced me into that community and people that I am still friends with to this day. So it's pretty cool.
I think for me, probably like, aside from knowing Dragon Ball Z when I was younger and all that, the biggest thing that like I guess I could be thankful for with the anime is meeting you on Twitch, is because before you I didn't know anything but DBZ, and now I know everything.
I'm so flattered.
You introduced me to every single anime that I've watched and have known or talk about or books gotten into reading. So
yeah,
it's all from you. I haven't found anything on my own.
That's okay. I'm someday, maybe someday.
Probably not, because every time something comes out, you're like, "Hey, here's 5 other ones," and I'm like, "Cool, that'll keep me busy for the
You're
next
like,
5 months."
cool. My queue will be long forever.
Yeah. So I just watch that stuff, and I keep up with it. And then as soon as we finish those, it's like a week later, it's like, hey, there's these things to watch, or we don't have anything to watch. And then you sent me I can't remember the one where Bro dies.
Oh yeah, Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was like in between because we didn't have like a ton.
Yeah.
But watching that was amazing. Another really good one that I liked a lot. It left me wanting a whole new like continuation season.
Right.
Like, come on, you can still do more with this story.
Like, please give me more. I totally get it. And that's the fun thing about because I've been into it for so long, actively. I've been actively into it for so long. I will always have a list of recommendations, whether they're old or new, for people. If someone's like, hey, I want to watch some older stuff that's really cool. And I'm like, okay, do you mean older like early 2000s? Or do you mean older like 80s and 90s? Like, you have to kind of differentiate with me because I have been watching it a while.
I want things that are going to be comparable. Just as long as they're as good as like DBZ, Jujutsu Kaisen, or Saki Miyano, or Skate 8.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff that is older, that is top-notch, fantastic writing. For example, Cowboy Bebop is from 98. That's like a solid one that I almost recommend to anyone that is brand new to anime.
That one, they just did like the live action Netflix remake thing, didn't they? I saw the previews for that and I was like, oh man, that does not seem like something like I might like it.
The anime is on Netflix right now, and I highly recommend trying it out.
I'll have to check it. I'll try it.
I will say it's very about half of it. Oh no, you're fine. I'm just saying that like that's just an example of one that I almost always recommend to people, because like I know people who are not into anime, but they like that show because it's really good.
I'll keep it on the list.
But that's kind of like what Attack on Titan became, I noticed. It's like for a long time it was like people who weren't into anime still liked Cowboy Bebop. But as time has shifted, people who aren't necessarily into anime but have seen Attack on Titan, they're like, yeah, this was really good. And I'm like, but you don't even watch anime. They're like, yeah, no, I don't. But I've seen Attack on Titan.
that one's good.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I really like it. I haven't picked it back up yet from what I did finish, but like I still am excited to get back to it because it is a really, really good show.
Mm-hmm. On a video game front, I'm really thankful for Final Fantasy VI because it was the first it was the first JRPG I ever played. And it like opened this world of awesome games to me, and I was like, that's the first like story narrative driven game I'd ever played, and it just absolutely enthralled me, and I was like, this is my new favorite kind of video game. It's so cool. So yeah,
I
I'm great.
I
I'm
started
thankful to 6 because it gave me everything else.
I started very young with video games. I started on the old like Square cartridge games, the Gold Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I started on too.
Yeah. I started with that. I did Sonic on the Sega handheld system. That was a ton of fun. Batteries were dying all the time. That was annoying. I hated that. And then I did Resident Evil on Nintendo 64 and Nemesis bursting through walls, giving me nightmares. I'd wake up like breathe in chest tight
You're
all
like,
the time. And then
he's coming for me.
yeah, I would lose sleep, and then I'd get home from school the next day and go right back to the game. Like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm ready for more nightmares.
You're like,
And I
woo!
would play it all the way up until I go to bed. Like, I was obsessed with that. And like, there was I think it was on the PlayStation. There was Splinter Cell. I used to love that one. That was a really good one. And then Then I got into Final Fantasy VII was the first like big story game I played, and that started me off on those types. And then I got into 8, and then Kingdom Hearts. I got into that, absolutely love that. And then there was Star Ocean till the end of time. That one was amazing. So it's like the ones that really like I played games before that, like the ones that I mentioned, but what really like started my gaming like lifestyle was Final Fantasy VII, because once I played that game, it spiraled into so much more.
Right. No, that's my similar experience with 6, because like I grew up with, Mario Brothers, and like we had like the Teenage Ninja Turtle games, which were really fun. Those are great beat 'em ups to this day. Great beat 'em ups. And like we had the Legend of Zelda and the Adventures of Link, which are kind of story games, but not in the same way. Not in the same way that a Final Fantasy title is.
No,
but
not even today.
Yeah,
even
I
Breath
didn't.
of the Wild doesn't compare.
I didn't have anything like that until it was like. Was the summer between, I think it was the summer between my 7th and 8th grade year. I went to a cousin's house in California for 2 weeks during the summer, and he was still in school, and he had a Super Nintendo, and he had Final Fantasy at the time 3, because of the way they released them here. It wasn't 6. It was 6 in Japan, but it was 3 here. It was only the 3rd one we ever got. And I played that while he was at school, and I was just hooked. And my aunt was really cool and like didn't care that that's all I did all day. Like I would get up, I would have breakfast, and then she would bring me lunch while I was playing. And then I would take a break for dinner and then play until bedtime. Like my cousin would just watch when he got home. He'd be like, "Oh, where you at? Oh no, this is what's going on." But like it was the first time that I like had an emotional reaction to a video game besides like frustration because it was difficult.
Yeah.
It was the first time I cried because characters died. I was like, what is happening? I was like, oh my gosh. So like I was so absolutely, and then I had a very, very similar experience later that same year. My parents went out of town for something and we had to stay at a friend's house, and he had Chrono Trigger on his Super Nintendo, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? He's like, oh, that's a Japanese RPG game. I was like, oh, like Final Fantasy 6? He's like, yeah, kinda. And I was like, well, 3. Final Fantasy 3? He's like, yeah, kind of like that. I was like, oh, cool. So I played that the whole week. My parents were gone, so like when
they're big. 7 was the first one that I got attached on, and then ever since 7, there wasn't really a whole lot of games that like really captured me or got me like emotional or upset over characters. I got really hooked on games like Kingdom Hearts and like the Star Ocean and stuff, but I wasn't like overly attached to anything. But over the last probably like 5 years or so, I get really, really attached to some games, and when something happens, like it affects me. Like I get off the game and I'll sit there and I'll like just like think about it for hours. And there's times where I get upset, I want to cry, and I'm like, why would you do this? I'm
like, why?
It's just a video game, and then my brain's like, I don't care.
It's just a video game, but I mean, at the same time, it's not just a video game. Obviously, video games these days. I mean, not even these days. Just like since they started doing narrative strong video games, you know, story-based games, they're you know, they write those stories to affect the player. Like, they want you to have an emotional response.
I think every time I think of like an emotional response video game, probably the first one that like started like my journey of getting attached in games is The Last of Us. Then The Last of Us 2. Those games, like, I didn't find out about those for the longest time, but I played those, and there's been so many games ever since where I'm just like, they've hit me so hard unexpectedly or whatever. Like, even in I played the new Spider-Man Miles Morales when I got my PS5, and I played that one, and the way that one ended got me, and I wasn't expecting it because I was angry with the person the whole time,
right?
And then the ending hit, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, no, this can't happen.
That was like me with freaking Resident Evil Village. When Village first came out and I finished Village, I was like crying over a Resident Evil game. I was like, what is happening? And it's because even Resident Evil has learned, they're like, we should work on our narrative a little bit.
If they have a good narrative, it really gets you.
Well, and now when you have the narrative combined with the ability to put like actual acting into it,
because
it's like it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, you get the voice, the emotion from the actor's voice and what they put into it, but then even the facial expressions on the actual characters are getting so advanced. It's like it may be an animation, but it still looks so realistic. It's like you're watching a person or a movie. Even movies are have over the last 5 years. I don't know, maybe with age I'm getting more emotional or something. But I swear,
that
in the
very
last
well
5
could
years,
be it.
so many things have hit me so much harder.
You're just allowing yourself to be emotional, and that's okay. It's okay for everyone to experience and be emotional.
Maybe I just stayed away from those things for a long time.
I also feel like that also comes from liking anime, because animes also often will
and I have gotten into anime
invoke an emotional response. I cannot even begin to tell you how many emotional responses I've got from anime.
Anime is a really good one. Yep.
And I'm gonna put that out there, something I'm thankful for. I am thankful for the fact that anime allows people to experience a lot of emotions that they do, like, they want you to have emotional responses. And the fact that a lot of anime are willing to go out of their way to like tell a story about something that maybe you would have never even thought of, that's like actually really important. You're like, wow, I've never really thought of that. That's like, I've had so many so many things. And like just a lot of other things, like there's a lot of anime that has been like physically inspiring to me, where it's like, I want to go out and be like, I want to go exercise and make myself a better person because of this show. Like, that's cool. Like, that's cool that it inspires people like that. And like, there are shows that inspire people just to be a better person and treat other people better. And it's like, it's really cool to watch anime and video games, because there are video games like that too. It's really cool to watch these medias inspire and change people for the better.
I wonder if there's really people cool out there that watch anime and they inspire to be the villain.
Gosh, I hope not. I really hope not. I'm sure there's some crazy person out there, and it's like, no.
I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna find somebody's shoes they're not wearing, and I'm gonna drop one little pebble in the toe.
Oh no. Oh, there's my chapstick. I was looking for my chapstick. It's not where I usually have it. I was like, oh no, it's gone. No, it's just over here. But yeah, so that's one thing and on a sappy note, I am grateful for platforms like Twitch. because I've met amazing people like you on Twitch.
Yeah.
Here we are. I would have never met you otherwise.
I know, right? Without Twitch, we wouldn't know each other. I met you. I met Kopik. I've met Isaac, and so it's like without Twitch. Although, I mean, I guess, well, and technically, like, I met Isaac on Twitter, but like we met
But
because
still.
of Twitch.
Right.
So if we weren't both involved in Twitch, we wouldn't have fallen on our For You pages.
Right.
We would never come across each other. So
Right.
Twitch has definitely brought a lot of friend groups. I wouldn't be into anime. I wouldn't be reading books now.
No, I was just about to say, I'm thankful for Chinese Danmei because it has got me back into reading novels because I was just like,
You're like, whatever.
Like I occasionally, very, very occasionally would pick up a book and read it these days, but most of the time it would be like an audiobook when I'm on a trip or something. But now I'm like actively buying and reading novels. Granted, they're all gay Chinese novels, but I don't care.
Those have the best stories and like the romance between them just seems so authentic and genuine. It's not like, I know, I'm sure for like that genre, it's probably maybe somewhat typical as far as like the story goes and everything, but I don't know. There's just something different about like the gay romance compared to straight romance. I think I've had 30 years of straight romance. It's just kind of like,
so it's really refreshing and a new view for you.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, this is great. This is new.
I don't know anything about that.
But I would say, as someone who has been a fan of the genre for a long time, I would say that even like some of the Danmei stuff has been not typical, and that is what I've really, really liked about it. It has been like a new take on this genre, which has been really nice.
It makes me want to rewatch Sasaki and Miyano, because like you have the one who he's just totally open about it and teasing Miyano all the time, and he's like, "Don't do that."
He's like, ah! He's like, oh gosh.
This is the best jokes all the time. I just laugh so hard at that show.
That's a fun one. And the dub is like, it's like good, but cringy at the same time, because it's like, it's just funny. Like, I think the dub is so much funnier than the sub for that one. I like both versions, but I feel like they did a really good job with the humor in the English dub.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way I watched it.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just...
Art and Time is another really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I like those. Those have been some really good ones.
Yes.
The current ones are good, too.
Yeah, I am really enjoying the current season. I'm just behind because my life has been crazy. But I've been really enjoying the stuff that I've been watching. I just need to get caught up.
I think at most I'm probably like one episode behind on our shows, because I was caught up as of like Friday or whatever, Thursday of last week. I was caught up on everything, so my guess is definitely behind one on Blue Lock, because that comes out on, you said, Tuesdays or whatever.
No, Blue Lock and Spy Family are both Saturday, I believe, and then Chainsaw is on Tuesdays.
Okay, so I'm probably one episode behind on each of those.
Yeah, I think I'm only one episode behind, and I tried to get caught up today, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, well, once you said you were behind, I didn't even like think about looking at it.
Yeah,
so,
but I think I'm only one behind on everything.
So we'll have a couple episodes of that to talk about, especially because I was behind like 2 episodes on Blue Lock last time, and then now we'll have like 4. So we'll have quite a bit to talk about.
It's funny because I have some friends on Twitter that I've been watching this week who live in Japan, and it's the soccer, the worlds are happening right now. So like they're like actively talking about these Japanese soccer games that are happening, and like they're always using Blue Lock gifts to talk about the games. So I'm like, hey, I know what we're talking about.
I get it.
I'm like, yeah, let's go. But it's pretty fun. But yeah, I think that's a good place to round off for the night and call it good, guys. Thanks, Dupree, for joining me as always.
Thank you. It was fun.
We should be back. This is one of those times where we're going to be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, because December is long.
Yes. So we'll be back on December 14th.
14th.
So it'll be, that'll be exciting. It'll be the day after Crisis Core releases. It'll be my first night to play it because I will play it after podcast on the 14th. Whee!
I'll probably play it on the 13th. And
That's fine.
The day of the 14th.
Well, you know me. I gotta play all my new stuff for stream. I gotta save it. But it's fine. That's okay. That's just how I do it. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dupree. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
I will.
Appreciate it. It was fun.
Yes. And I'm going to take just a short break, guys, while I transition over, and we will play some more God of War.
All right.
Bye, Dupree. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hold on. I had to double check something. We're good now. But yeah, happy pre-turkey day, everyone.